Not many of the smaller counties that were just added to the list of those that can jump to phase 2 are excited, but people in those counties are also worried that it could lead to a surge in outside visitors. KOMO's Keith Eldridge had a chance to talk with some county leaders. He joined us live tonight. Keith?
Yeah, excitement for those businesses to reopen, but also concern that outsiders could bring an increase in COVID-19. On the list of 10 new counties, Thurston County in the state capital city of Olympia.
What are your thoughts on the fact that the governor now says that your city, your county can go to phase 2?
Well, it was exciting news. We hadn't expected it to come this quickly. Our numbers were definitely trending that way, but it was a welcome surprise to get the text last night.
The city is one of the larger to get the governor and health secretary's nod to go to phase 2, but Mayor Cheryl Silby says it comes with a great responsibility.
I've heard it referred to as a hammer and a dance kind of scenario with these reopening guidance tiers. So if we don't do the dance correctly right now, then the hammer can come back.
The same concerns in nearby Mason and Kitsap counties.
So what we would ask is if you come down, we want to make sure that you still encourage people to keep that social distancing and keep the CDC guidelines and the state Department of Health guidelines in mind when you're here.
Ocean Shores just today is reopening its hotels after several weeks ago telling people to stay away because of the crowding on the beaches. And now Grace Harbor County is applying to go to phase 2.
The last time we saw you, you were with the governor saying, don't come to Ocean Shores. Now what are you saying?
Absolutely. That was the case then, and things have changed. We are cautiously inviting people to come. We hope that people won't overwhelm us right at the start, and you know, that we get a chance to kind of get our feet on the ground.
Yeah, the mayor says it's possible they could get the nod to move ahead with phase 2 before the holiday weekend coming up.
22 counties in yellow and orange can move to phase 2, but
the other counties unfortunately have too high infections to justify moving to phase 2 at this moment.
That's 17 counties representing 70% of the state's population, including Pierce County.
I don't see a scenario where Pierce County can realistically meet those even by June 1st.
Pierce County is not alone. To meet the governor's threshold, King County would have to have no more than 225 new COVID cases over a 14-day period. It had 822 over the last 2 weeks. Pierce County's goal is 90, but it had 254 over the last 14 days. Snohomish County's goal, 82, but it had 328. The Pierce County executive believes large counties should have one metric for assisted living centers, where many of the cases originate, and one for the general population.
Again, if you take long-term care centers to the side, treat them differently than the rest of the community at large, I think we can meet them.
A spokesman for King County Executive Dow Constantine said they're working with the governor to determine how and when King County will safely modify physical distancing measures. But last week, Constantine told me he favors a segmented opening.
Would you like to see the county have that independent authority to roll out what it thinks is best versus what the governor thinks is best for the state?
The counties can ask for specific activities or sectors to be able to move forward if they're shown to be ready in this county. And we think that that is a definite possibility in King County.
The governor has set June 1st for the entire state to move to phase 2, but every time he says that, there's always a
but. We cannot predict the status of the virus on that date.
Seattle Children's Hospital, Aspergillus mold has been discovered there once again. It is a problem that has plagued the facility for almost 20 years now. KOMO's Kara Kosnich is live in Seattle tonight. And Kara, we understand it was a low level of Aspergillus that was detected?
That's right, Eric, and it's a different type of Aspergillus, and so far no cases have been reported, but several ORs have been shut down. This is 8-month-old Wyatt Seymour, who has spent months at Seattle Children's. In October, he had open heart surgery and within days experienced complications.
When they opened him up, his entire heart was covered with black Aspergillus mold.
Wyatt is doing better now, but still being treated at Children's for an Aspergillus infection. His family is suing the hospital. Since 2001, 7 children have died and 14 have had Aspergillus infections at the facility. The news news of more mold at the hospital is concerning to many.
The latest revelation indicates to me that children hasn't done nearly enough to manage this issue.
Children says the Aspergillus recently detected is a different type than the species associated with the previous cases of Aspergillus surgical site infections. Karen Kohler is an attorney leading a class action lawsuit for families impacted by the mold.
There's something wrong in that hospital, and I really hope for the sake of the hospital and for their patients and future patients that they can get their act together and figure it out.
Children's reported the discovery to the Department of Health on May 12th and told them they're investigating a potential facility system malfunction related to the ventilation system. During the past year, the hospital installed a new air handling unit and put new HEPA filters in its 14 operating rooms. All the ORs were closed for months so the work could be done. Today's news isn't easy for those who have lost kids to an Aspergillus infection who were treated at Children's.
Every time this comes up, all of these families are absolutely traumatized. It brings the whole nightmare of what happened to their child back.
And Children's told us this by email today. We have decided to proceed with a more expansive evaluation of the impacted spaces in collaboration with external engineering experts. We anticipate several operating rooms will be closed for several weeks while the evaluation is underway.
Cell phone video shows a deadly encounter between Seattle police and a man who officers say was charging at people with knives.
A teenager who recorded the video says it shows an armed man running away from police before shots were fired. KOMO's Joel Marino's live in Seattle with a closer look at the video. Joel?
Marion Preston, the teenager who took it, only caught a few seconds of the confrontation before the shots were fired. Still, though, want to caution some people may find this video upsetting. The man who police shot was already dead before this ambulance ever drove away, and witnesses say it was a chaotic scene in the moments before 2 officers opened fire.
My hands were shaking a little bit, just felt my heart drop. I was just a little freaked out.
Oh my God. Liam Loschke had just taken this footage on his phone. No. We froze the video just as the gunfire erupts. What it shows has left some witnesses with a lot of questions.
Everybody's like, why did they just shoot him? He was running away from them.
Yeah.
I mean, his back was to them.
The man does appear to be running from officers. Harder to see is if a police dog catches up and bites him, because the man appears to spin back or possibly take a swing. Seattle police have yet to clarify, but emphasize that the man had 2 knives and was a clear threat to the public.
He was threatening people. At one point, it was reported that he was, in fact, chasing someone while he was armed with these knives. Obviously, incredibly concerned about the safety of the public here.